important subject yet.
Snow days.
Snow days. Hello.
Hey, everyone.
I hear it.
Do you?
Start it again. Yeah. You just started it twice. Third time now.
There.
Do it now.
Holy shit.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hey, everybody. It's the
How come I'm the only one who hears it?
Unclepuckers are back.
You didn't hear it?
I heard it.
Okay.
I didn't hear it, and all of a sudden it got really loud in my ear.
It was playing just fine.
Oh, what did I do?
Acid, I think.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man.
Doing all right. Doing all right. What'd you guys think of that game last night? That was
Poop.
fun, right? Poop. Poopy, poopy, poopy.
Kind of was like a boring ass game too, but like I guess the big news on it was the whole Lindy Ruff's gonna bench Holtz on during that game, and I don't know. What were your impressions?
I'm sorry, I don't do impressions, but I can tell you what I thought of the game. Wait, there's a button for this.
That's not it. Is it the silence button? Is that what you got?
It's a great button.
I love it. That button of silence.
I'm good at that button.
Yeah.
We're supposed to start over.
No, we're not starting over. We're
You're
going.
just gonna do an impression for us now.
No, I don't. Do those.
Sorry, you don't do those. Yeah.
I don't do them.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really kind of depressing game, to be honest with you. It's like the only way I can describe it.
Well, I was stuck in mud watching that.
Yeah.
game.
I mean, when your only 2 goals come in a, 4-minute double minor, which was, great. And then, then you give up that soft ass goal with 5 minutes left. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand that we have injuries, but at this and Timo just got back, so I'll give him a pass on this one. But like with guys, you tell people's a roster that has Timo Meyer, Nico Hischier, Dawson Mercer, Luke Hughes, Michael McLeod, Tyler Toffoli, Jesper Bratt, like these dudes should be doing a hell of a lot more than this.
I mean, they could have beat a team like Montreal.
It's really kind of what I'm getting at there.
I mean, seriously, come on. This is. I know how they're kind of a dangerous team for the Devils to play right now. You said that last time we did a show, but I mean, come on, dude. You are so much better than this team on paper, and you just can't execute at all.
I don't know what's going on.
Injuries are not an excuse, as you're saying.
No, but you would think that
game.
I agree with you. Injuries are not an excuse, but let's just maybe rewind. I think it was only a couple of days ago when Lindy Ruff was asked about what his impression on the first 41 games of the season.
Does he do impressions?
He does excellent impressions. He does a Christopher Walken. I'm telling you.
Oh, we have to get him on the show now. I never wanted Lindy on before, but if he does a good Christopher Walken, I'm in.
An amazing Christopher Walken.
Okay.
So where he said he answered the question by saying, well, we've had a lot of injuries. So it sounds like somebody might be using the injury thing as an excuse.
True.
That's how he described
I'll be honest with you, to
the
be
first
fair,
41 games of the year.
And I would say after the Boston game, I think we said it too. Hey, listen, for the team that was injured, they played against a damn good team. And what you needed was some of those injuries back. That makes sense when you play a tough game against a good team. What about when you do what you did against Montreal? I mean, I don't think that's the same kind of scenario.
I agree. Bob, jump in here.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those scenarios where I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Is that play? I think that's an appropriate title for the show.
Pulled the dad card.
Yeah, seriously.
The lack of effort to come out with that game with the playoff positioning on the line, with one of your superstars coming back, regardless of the fact that he's out for a while and he's obviously going to be rusty, that should be a spark for any team. That'd be happy to have him, let alone the fact that we've got several guys that we can say that about. Just to come out kind of flat like that doesn't make much sense to me. You have to beat Montreal, right? And I know that they're a professional team too, and they want to win, but I don't care about them. I'm just saying for us and the playoff positioning and the option that we would have had is extremely disappointing. Once again, it wasn't until they get a couple of those power play goals that they showed some life for a while. They waited too long to do that. I guess we did get, as everyone likes to call it, goalied for a while, right? We did. So maybe if some of our chances, if we finish them, then maybe it actually looks like a much better game. We finished a couple of those early goals. Maybe this is totally flopped or flip-flopped, and now we're not saying that they kind of came out like poop. Maybe we're saying, well, at least they got the win and they could have played a little better. But just overall, a little tired of this happening to them against these types of squads. Like, oh yeah, somebody had to lose to San Jose. Well, it was us. And, somebody had to lose to Montreal. Well, again, it was us. Like, great that we beat Florida. Like, that's great, but we need to take these points from these teams. So it's just getting really exhausting.
It really does come down to they're a really good bunch of individual guys. They're not a very good team.
No,
they're just not a good team.
I don't know if they're going to gel because that's a great way of looking at it. They are a great bunch of individual talents who are not playing as a team. And even when they're reaching some level of success, you could say that like most times it's all individuals being successful. It's not as much teamwork as you need. We're not there.
Nope. No, we're not. And that, I don't, again, every time, things start going a little sideways, especially me, I get out the Fire Lindy chant. But like, this seems to be a problem now. You're, just playing down to our opponents. Like, when you're asked about the first 41 games and your only response was, we've had a lot of injuries, like, stop baking in the excuses. Like, we've had some injuries, but eventually those injuries are going to come back and we're going to be too far out of a playoff spot to even, take a sniff at them. And then
injuries aren't effort. Effort and injury are two different things.
No, I've looked them up before. They're not the same.
They're not. The team, they should have came out with more fire. So that is beginning to be a little bit of a problem. I know you guys already referenced the Holtz thing, which I think is perhaps
let's talk about that.
I wanted to ask you guys about the play in question that most people are saying got him benched, and then also about the overall use of Holtz. I'm just curious, mostly, what Bobby thinks about this, but you as well, Chris.
He was just answering it.
Yes. He's getting there.
Surprisingly, I'm not overly concerned with the benching for that particular moment. I do think it kind of is out of place from a double standard point of view, where it seems like Luke Hughes turns the puck over for a grade A chance almost every game.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know that they're different players right now.
But on the exchange? Like, I'm just saying, even like, are you questioning whose bad that is on that play? Do you remember the play? Yeah,
I do remember the play.
Okay, so
refresh my memory because I read the article, but I didn't care enough about this podcast or
anybody
to go back and look at the play itself.
Yeah, it's all right. Look, it's not an earth-shattering play, but Bob, you explain what you saw. Make sure I'm seeing the same thing. I don't know.
I mean, basically what Holtz did is he took it from kind of between the net and the corner, and instead of kind of feeding it up the boards, kind of flung it a little bit more into the center. Okay. And there's some talk about, there's a defensive responsibility there, but basically the system is to kind of protect that and throw it up the boards. I mean, you never want to throw it.
Did they score on it?
They did not. They penned it in the zone for an extended period, but they did not score on it. To me, it's more of a, hey, kid, that was dumb, not I'm going to bench you.
Uh-huh. I mean, I could see a coach like highlighting that play and explaining it exactly like you did and saying, we can't have that play. We're lucky that it didn't end up in a goal. I could totally see that being a thing. But I was just like, did you think it was that egregious? Like Chris said, asked a question like, well, did it end up in a goal? It didn't. Do you think it was that egregious that the guy who just like scored
tied the
game up? Yeah. Now we're going to pull him out in a game where we obviously need offense.
So according to Ruff, both the reporter who asked the question and myself don't watch the game close enough because I barely noticed it. And, as a fan, probably at the moment I noticed it was like, oh, geez, don't do that. But then
honestly, I missed like 50 of those a game. I mean, their defensive game is not solid.
This is where
isolated play.
That was the point that I was going to go to, Dan. Right. That was the point I was going to say. Like, are we treating every player that takes a puck in the corner and throws it in the middle of the ice? I mean, John Marino would have been benched probably 30 games this season.
I think it's your system, and you got Holtz as your whipping boy.
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't like because
the whole team's doing it.
It does seem this way. Like now this is how fucking coaches lose locker rooms.
I know.
I'm telling you that.
I'm not even a Holtz guy. Okay. Bobby's a Holtz guy. I'm like kind of ambivalent on him. But on this issue, I feel like, Liddy, are you for fucking real making an example out of this at this time?
You know what?
When you had points on the board to win the game, the guys scored just now. You're going to pull him for that.
So, again, it's like, I'm not going to question a seasoned coach if he decides when a young player might get benched for a mistake like that. Maybe he's been doing it his whole life and it works for him. I don't know. I don't sit too strongly on either one. Listen, I don't sit too strongly in either one. As I'm watching the game, I thought it was ridiculous, but I did have time to kind of sit back and realize that I don't think he should get benched for it. I'm just not going to.
Jacques Lemaire should bench him for it because he would never allow that. But like what I'm saying is, Lindy, it's always happening.
Well, this is the problem. Again, it does appear to be a double standard compared to the way he's treating other players. It doesn't you don't need to signal out Holtz every time that this happens. And the bigger issue is this is becoming bigger. This is becoming bigger than the team. This is not just a locker room situation now. It's in the news. NHL Tonight was talking about it. He's barking at a reporter for asking about it. Like, tensions are high about asking about Alexander Holtz. Now, a lot of our fans, it's kind of like you're either on the Holtz train or you're not. Right?
That's what worries me.
Or you're maybe in the middle saying, listen, he's not the next coming of anything. He's just kind of a decent player.
Wherever you sit.
But wherever you sit, think about it like this for 1 second. I mean, the kid's got 11 goals with very limited, shitty moving ice time.
Right.
If he were treated anywhere near constant minutes, I don't care what line anymore. Put him on the fourth, doesn't matter. We know it's Lindy Ruff. He moves them all around anyway. He still got out in the power play and had a chance to score the goal, the game-tying goal. So you can do that. But if he were just managed a little more routinely, it's not out of the realm of possibility to say he's sitting at 15 goals exactly halfway through the year, which projects this kid as a 30-goal scorer being treated like crap. And yet, I mean, that's he's a rookie on pace for 30 goals, practically. He's not, obviously, but he could be.
Hey, look, I'm telling you something right now. You can pull 100 Devil fans, 500 Devil fans, 1,000 Devil fans, and say, hey, Alexander Holtz, 20 goals this year. What do you guys think? They would be give us 20 goals? Are you kidding me? That's what we want from this kid. 20 goals would be a great season for this kid. And he is doing it, like you said, with, shitty minutes and stuff. I find it fascinating. In the years that we've watched Lindy Ruff coach this team, he's never done this before.
Right.
Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm trying to think back. Like, has he ever, just made somebody his whipping boy for really no reason other than you just want to beat somebody up?
I mean, I could totally understand if Lindy runs a tight ship. You were never going to get another shift in a game if you did that under Devils defensive teams. Not just Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson, even Pat Burns would have probably.
Pat Burns would have traded you.
Yeah. So, I get it. A coach totally has that right to do that, and especially with a young player to lay down the law. But hold on a second. This happens all the time, every play. Like, I didn't see his giveaway as anything worse than the 50 giveaways I see per game. That's what's killing us. And that's why I get so annoyed with the goalie talk. It's like the secondary problem to the whole team playing. And now we got just the one guy. I'm going to believe the story. It's just Holtz.
Just Holtz.
I mean, I remember Hughes a few weeks ago, and I'm not ragging on him. I'm just saying, it happens all the time. These guys, I'm more upset with the Siegenthalers. Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
literally fell down,
and they scored on that play. Yes, right back out because he's a kid. He's going to make those mistakes. You accept that because of his offensive prowess. Well, I give you the scenario again with Alexander Holtz.
Right,
could possibly be a 15 on his way to 30 goal scorer with regular minutes, and you're not going to give him the same rope.
I don't know. It's got to be a personality thing in there. Where
this is fun to watch.
Pound him extra hard because he doesn't get it.
Ew.
I don't think that's what I see out there. But maybe it is.
It just seems like he just has become his whipping boy, and it's kind of fun to watch. It's a little fascinating, but it's not going to end well. It's really not. I don't know what the end game is of this. Either you just go back to giving the guys some normal minutes and, let them play or coach them like you coach everybody else. Or
bodes poorly for both of them as Devils. I don't think you can sustain this forever.
No, and
what's out, and it shows Lindy don't have the team.
Right. And what's it do to the locker room? Like, we know Jack Hughes is a huge Lindy Ruff guy. You're like, well, what if certain dudes are like a little bit more on Alex's side? What does this do to the locker room? Like, this could be a fucking tragedy waiting to happen if something's on. Now, I know I'm being very hyperbolic about it, but
no, not
stranger
really.
fucking things have happened. We've kind of been around long enough to see how this is. Yes, I know it was very Shakespearean.
That was my point.
That's what's going to happen.
It's larger than the team right now, and that's a major distraction. And there's really no reason for it. For the fans that really don't even like Holtz, I'll at least say to you, what has he done so wrong? Like, his play hasn't been bad. He makes some mistakes. He's a little one-dimensional in some aspects. Yeah, he threw that puck up the boards, and some say he's not strong on the boards and all that. But on the flip side, for what you're getting for a rookie, I mean, what has he done that's so bad that he's not worth the benefit of the doubt?
Well, who's playing better is my question. It's just very similar to yours, but I think more like forward-looking. Like, I don't even give a shit about making Holtz's career the best or blaming him for things. I'm just saying, look at this team, and he's not been our problem. He's been on the plus side compared to other players.
Exactly. And I mean, again, if the scenario were to be true that he was anywhere near a 30-goal scorer, Tyler Toffoli is a 30-goal scorer, and we're paying him $6 million a year. And we have an interesting problem coming up, which is that the Tyler Toffoli-Mercer debate, right? Which I think most people would say, extend Mercer, if that's where the money has to go. Alex Holtz could be our answer to what can we do for that type of offensive player now, on maybe not in the top two, because Mercer maybe slides up to that permanently, and Holtz is more of a fixture on a third line. And instead, I mean, we might be literally pushing the kid out the door. We don't know.
Yep. It seems like maybe the stress of this season is starting to get to Lindy Ruff a little bit. That's what it kind of sounds like to me.
I think the expectations weighed on him too.
Yeah, and this team not doing whatever. He's not stupid. He's been around long enough. He knows you don't last long when your team's playing like this. It just doesn't work.
I just wish he would try and find something that works for him, because I think he does have still a lot to offer, but you can tell he's losing him. He's losing his team.
Yeah. And this was the worst possible case scenario. When you are going into, having an injury-plagued season, but your dudes are coming back, okay? It's not like everybody is Dougie Hamilton not coming back for the year. Like, we know that these dudes are going to be back sooner rather than later. Yeah. And all you got to do
an all-star team, starting lineup worth of people back.
And if you believe that that's what you need, all those pieces in place, that your job while these guys were gone was to keep your shit together.
That's it.
And you fucking fell apart, dude.
Yeah, especially with baby shit.
I gotta put that on Lindy, with the baby shit like that.
Exactly. It's one thing, these guys are playing their hearts out, and they just don't have what it takes. I think everybody would accept that from the coaches, from the players, but I don't think that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing bullshit get in the way, because it's too much not executing to have any other explanation than major distractions at this point.
And real leaders in the fucking locker room wouldn't allow this to happen. Plain and simple. And maybe they'll put an end to it, and it'll get better before it gets worse. But I don't know how much I trust in some of these guys. Not with what I've seen. The Florida, like you said, the Florida game was great. Okay, and look at the last handful surrounding that game. Yep. Just hasn't been great.
Lost 3 out of 5 now. It's been
a pattern. Tough schedule coming up. Yep. All I keep hearing about is Jack Hughes playing in the All-Star game. So is this guy just going to come back trying to get healthy to get in the All-Star game?
Every time I hear that, it annoys the fuck out of me. What are we talking about? What? Who gives a shit about the All-Star game?
Exactly. Well, apparently Jack Hughes does, because he's, doing everything if they play him in the All-Star game and he hadn't played for us yet, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Wait, I'm being serious. I'll do you one better. He kind of gets injured.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it.
Back.
Right.
And then
because he played in the fucking All-Star game. And longer.
Right. I can't. Because
apparently his shoulder's made out of fucking balsa wood and paper mache. So,
I can't remember a scenario where there was a player of his caliber out this long where it hadn't already been announced. Listen, he's not going to the All-Star game. Why is it even still an option? It's right around the corner. He's not even skating.
And I heard that, he's not playing in the game. It's just a skills competition. I really don't give a shit if he's just carrying Austin Matthews' luggage to his fucking room. If he can't play for us, he should not be playing for anybody, doing anything. Am I wrong about that?
No, that seems right. I mean, that seems fair.
Yeah,
because Dan's right. He'll get fucking hurt. Just some fluky ass shit.
In the bellhop competition, he'll get caught in the elevator. The elevator doors are going to close, and his shoulder's just going to shatter. The elevator door. The doctor told me to stay away from elevators.
Everywhere.
God damn it.
Well, I guess we have gotten to the point where Jack Hughes gets put in the barrel.
Yeah. I mean,
it's been a tough.
We're just we're a little bitter because we miss him on this team. And I hear he's going to play for another team, basically, in the All-Star. So, because I don't know, I don't want to say real Devil fans, but real Devil fans don't give a fuck about the All-Star game. I mean, it's disappointing year after year. It's just like whatever. I
just want to also let our listeners that might think we don't know what an all-star game is. No, we are fully aware of it. We just choose to never ever talk about it. So that is why we can care less about that frigging game. It's an exhibition game. It means nothing. And he can't, right? He's got to be at least one game with us before he goes to plays in the all-star game.
I mean, I don't know. They wrap him in bubble wrap, let him play, put a couple layers of the bubble wrap around him.
What's the last game before the all-star game, Bobby?
Let's see, we got Tampa on the 27th. And
that's Saturday.
Yeah, so that's it.
And when's the game?
It's actually not on the Devils calendar. I'm assuming it's over the weekend.
So then play probably resumes Monday or Tuesday. So they probably do everything Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Which would be around the 30th.
Yeah, because we don't play again till February 6th.
Okay.
That's a long break. So
yeah, and if at least we knew Jack Hughes was coming back February 6th, I'd be okay with that. We keep our head above water, don't go playing that stupid exhibition game. That's all.
Maybe he's like in the sling wearing competition.
I'd be okay with that one, to be honest, as long as it's not on ice. As long as they do it on a grass or the sand. Where is it? In Toronto? Do it in snow. I'm okay with that. Just not on the ice.
Right.
I just, Yeah, things are looking not so good. And then we got the Blue Jackets tomorrow, which they can just do what Montreal did. And then Dallas, which if, they get rolling, they can embarrass us the way we're playing. And then the Golden Knights.
So that looks really good.
Yeah, don't look so great. What do you think, Bobby? What's going on with this team?
Give Devil fans a reason to be positive. We don't seem to have it tonight, Bobby.
Yeah, you're Mr. Optimistic.
Yeah, I see you. I see sunshine.
Oh, no.
It's just a glare from your light up in the corner, but it still looks like sunshine.
I think you might just pick the wrong day for this. Listen, I'm not running out of pure optimism because math-wise, there's a ton of time left, and they're right there. I get more bitter about
math
the
has
fact
never made me happy, but okay.
That 2 points the other night didn't just put them into the playoff spot, it put them into the first wild card for the first time we're even saying that, and right there for third or fourth in the division.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of pieces coming back. If you ask me right now, I'm going to tell you, there's still time to put it together. They're going to accumulate enough points to make the playoffs. I don't know that's going to mean anything because they can't play this way in the playoffs anyway. So they'd probably get bounced rather quick. But that's for another conversation. I mean, legitimately, knowing the Devils, they could come out and lose to, the Blue Jackets and then go ahead and whoop Dallas and whoop Vegas and whoop Carolina,
right.
and we'll be having this conversation in a week. Oh, my God, they're so good. Look at these great teams they beat. And then, they're going to shit the bed against another flubby team when they're still on the fence, and we're going to be scratching our heads. But a lot of people coming back, so hopefully.
The thing that worries me is not the loss to the game. I'm fine with that. Not fine with it, but you know what? All the things you said, nothing that you said is untrue. You're 100% right. Sure, there's plenty of time. The thing that worries me the most is all these shit that started coming out about Lindy Ruff and Alex Holtz. That's the shit that's really bothering me. Because, that's the shit that
the train's going off the track.
Yeah, that's the shit that says things are about to get a little bit worse. Guys, buckle up.
It could be just a misunderstanding blown up by, let's face it, tons of reverberating social media shit. I saw it on 3 different platforms, and 2 of which I don't normally even check. It just popped up.
Well, Do you think that that's? I mean, I hope that that's it.
That's what I'm hoping, man, because it does seem like it explains a lot.
It's
and
snarky,
that's why I don't want to buy into it, but it really does explain a lot. Like, it's just too much inconsistency and lack of effort to not have a communication personality problem. That's starting to be the story.
Yeah, and the biggest reason why I think there is some smoke there is how he snapped at the reporter when he was asked that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like that should have just been like, look, Alexander Holtz knows where I'm coming from. He knows why we do things that we do here. That's between me, him, and not you guys. You know, just he understands there's a reason why, you know, whatever. And you back the kid up. You don't throw him under the bus.
Oh, I know that reporter's an asshole, and that's why.
Yeah, you know, maybe, but he goes like so quick on the defensive and snaps at the reporter, and then throws Alex Holtz under the bus. Like you know, you touched the nerve there.
Looked a little unhinged.
Yeah.
Professional coaches, and maybe this guy asks that question all the time, and he's a huge Holtz guy or whatever. But still, you're dead right. That's how it should have been handled, and that's the biggest takeaway I get from this. That was cringeworthy. I'm like, hey, something is wrong now. Something just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
This is not about hard lessons for a kid learning to play. And some of our fans will listen to us and probably argue straight up that, nope, this is exactly what the kid needs. Coach is doing absolutely the best
I think
job.
there's a world in it where it's what the coach needs, but not what what the player needs best in his career, but not what the team needs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even saying the benching is wrong, and probably a young guy coming up should have a firmer hand by a coach if he wants to have a good long career and learn the ropes. I mean, everybody has that story. If you talk to old players, there's that one coach who formed them. But you're not running the team well. It's the whole team doing this, and instead it just looks like a weird way of handling the situation on Lindy's part. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
You think like he's just going to bed at night, just praying to the hockey gods, like, Jack, I know that you can't hear me, but if there's some way you can you just get back a little bit quicker than maybe you might have normally? Because I really want to keep my job, and you might be the only way that I can.
I'm worried that he's going to attack Alex Holtz, take out his shoulder, and try to bring it to Jack to have it
Jack, look, I fixed your shoulder. Here, just put this on.
Bleeding out without a shoulder.
Don't go away anymore.
Yeah.
Coach, where'd you get that? Don't worry about it, Jack. Just stick it on your arm. You're good. Just come on. Just get the old one off, the new one on.
Sacrifice him some kind of weird ritual where his spirit is supposed to be absorbed in Jack's shoulder.
It might be the only saving absorbed in Jack's shoulder.
Yeah, just the spirit goes and fixes Jack's shoulder. Like he's got to just kill people to keep Jack's shoulder healthy for the rest of the season. It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. You could be a serial killer by hockey player by night, serial killer by night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sudden death, we'll call it. Oh, wait, that was already taken by a horrible movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, this Sudden Death 2?
Yeah, Sudden Death 2, except it has nothing to do with a bomb going off in an arena. Instead, it's about, what are we talking about? Human sacrifice?
Bomb going off in a different arena.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's satanic worship and sacrifice. Not sure if it's human sacrifice or animals or reptiles or mineral. I don't know. But we're going to do that, and then that spirit will make Jack's shoulder.
Yep.
What is it?
What does it do?
Yeah.
His shoulder right now is made of crystal, and we're going to try to improve that. Something more resilient.
Unbelievable. That's the only
that's
hope
a good
that
screen name.
got.
If anybody's looking for a screen name, Jack's Crystal Shoulder.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I like it.
Glass shoulder.
Jack's glass shoulder, yeah. I hope not.
Let's really hope that it doesn't get stuck in the door at the All-Star game.
Too, by the way, they said upper body officially. It could have been anything. It could have been a nipple.
And I'm still not buying that it's a nipple. I know you keep going to that.
No.
I'm not buying it's a
I
nipple.
think it's the best possible injury you can have as a hockey player. It's really not functional at all.
That's true.
Not during the game, at least.
I guess the only reasonable way to explain that is upper body injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know if you can put odds on what exactly is Jack's upper body injury. Nipple, shoulder, wrist.
I bet
We've heard
you
them
can.
all. if you do want to put some action on that, you can do that on DraftKings, because we know that hockey games move fast, but DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get 2. And do you think they listen to these?
Nobody does.
Nobody does. I'm not.
Nobody
Guys, you've heard it, right? Yeah, crown is yours. NHL, copyright, gambling problem. You know who
Cut
to
it
call.
out.
We're good. All right. Moving on. So, Bob, you are Mr. Optimistic. And we love you for that.
I didn't think we were supposed to give his real last name.
Are we sure we're not going to start this show over?
Can you imagine doing this shit again?
I gotta say, from a flow standpoint,
Yeah, at this point, we would have to cancel the night because just nobody's doing this over again.
We're just kind of going with it, Bob.
We're just having fun.
That's it. Why? I mean, really, it's a Thursday night. It's freezing freaking cold out. We're about to get dumped on snow. Devils aren't playing. Played like shit yesterday. What else are you going to do than sit around with your friends and bitch about your favorite hockey team?
Yep.
That's right.
No. But speaking of which, though, you really are Mr. Optimistic, though. And you do believe, though, or do you believe that they are going to do what you said, maybe lose to Columbus, but go on that run? Like, you see that coming?
I honestly don't think they're going to lose to Columbus. I can't fathom having like these like two stinkers like that back to back. So no, I think they're going to beat Columbus because they should.
I can give you 2 words of why you should think that they are probably going to lose to Columbus.
Okay.
Vitek, Vanacek.
I did forget about that. I would play Dawes twice.
Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, right? We had to talk about goalies.
All right, so let's go on and say they do lose, and now the sky is completely falling. It still would not surprise me to win 2 out of 3 against the next 3 teams. But then you got Tampa lurking. They're no cakewalk either. It's just, the only thing that's really keeping me positive right now is just the sheer math of it all.
Yeah, I mean, because nobody's running away with it. Yeah, I mean, they still have it. Again, and everybody is going to go through a rough stretch. Every team's going to go through this. We've just been going through it probably a little bit longer. The injuries, I think, hopefully Timo can kind of get into a bit of a more of a groove now. I mean, just 1 game back, but they have all the pieces. That's the thing that's so frustrating, and why at the end you kind of have to always go back to the coaching staff when this is what it's about. Because now we're seeing this rift, and if it is a rift, it probably is a rift, and then things can get worse, and then that just can spiral into a fucking season that could have been. And then I really just hope that we are all anybody in the media writing about all this and the Alex Holtz stuff. I really hope that we are just blowing it out of proportion.
Well, I think that it's because it's been going on for so long. There's never really been a time this season where all cylinders were firing, where, an injury hasn't come up, or an inconsistent stretch hasn't come up. And we've had times where we got very excited looking at, realistically looking back at like a 2-week window, and there were some shitty losses in there, but maybe some good ones. And, getting, 8 out of 12 points, like everything was kind of pointing positive. But I think for me, it's momentum. I don't feel like there's been momentum since day one. Nothing that really feels like tangible that we're about to. A couple times on the show, we said, I feel like we're about to take off, but we didn't really feel like, okay, they're lifting off right now. So it's just, for me, that's the most frustrating part. I think, in all honesty, if they hadn't done as well as they did last year and they were just constantly, slowly rebuilding, I would be just probably a lot more accepting of where they are. At least that's what I say now, but I'd probably also still look at the roster and say, no, this doesn't make any sense. That's
where you have to go. I mean, you have to look at the roster. And at some point, is Tom Fitzgerald, sitting back saying, look what I put everything out there. I gave this, coaching staff, I gave it everything except goaltending. I didn't give them that. They didn't ask for it. I don't know. There were some people like me and you talking about that they should get it, but they didn't. But everything else he laid out for them. He gave them a great team. Why are they not meshing? What is it about this team that's just not clicking? I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah, and especially now for what it's worth, again, we can say small sample size all you want. Dawes is flat out an improvement of where we've been.
Yes.
And so if they were if their offensive capabilities were anywhere near they should be, with the way Dawes is playing, we're doing way better.
Just where they were, like the whole first quarter of the season up to maybe the whole full half of the season, all we bitched about was team defense and goaltending. Well, the last last little stretch here, last few weeks, we've, the team defense has been a hell of a lot better. Our goaltending since Dawes has been here has been improved. Now we can't score a goal. Right. It's like, Jesus Christ, just can't put it all together.
No.
Just
can't put it all together. And there were definitely, he still gave up 3 goals. So, you're going to see that. But there were legit saves I watched, and I said something we said on the show a couple times, like that would have got past our other 2 goaltenders.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, this game's 4-0 before we even get that double minor. So I just really think Dawes has done a great job. These are the things that are supposed to like galvanize a team, right? You see that and you get energy from that, and you go out and then you look up at the schedule and say, oh my gosh, we're there. This is it. We own this. We win, we're in. I know it's not the last game of the year, but we win, we're in. And then you come out and just kind of shit like that. So that's the disappointing part.
Yeah. Dan, anything that you want to add, sir?
No, I think Bobby has a great point. There is reason to be optimistic. It's very possible, and we have a lot of time left. Things could come together. This could be the low point of the season. So, I'm going to say he's got, there's a reason for Devils fans to keep the faith and, be annoyed, let it out, just like us, bitch a little bit. The team definitely deserves it. But you know what? I'm not going to just turn them off for the season at this point and go, oh, you guys don't have. There's a lot of season left to play. We could bear witness to some really amazing things, and they could turn it around and start becoming that, dynastic team even right before our eyes. So they got my attention, even though I am disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Just like Bobby said. Good name for the episode.
Yeah, exactly. I everybody says like a team needs to lose before they win, and it's usually a crushing playoff loss and everything. I think a season like this can do more good than bad. Maybe more good than losing in the first or second round of a playoff to a young team. Like they had high aspirations. They are falling well short of that. Like, this is going to test the mettle of this team, the leaders on this team, the leaders in this dressing room, in the locker room rather, and behind the bench, and the management of this team. And we're going to really see what we have. Like, was last year just a figment of our imagination and some fucking unicorn that sprung up out of nowhere? Maybe this team just really isn't that good. Maybe this team needs a lot more work than we thought. Who knows? I don't think that's the case. I think they are that good, and I think they can and probably will get on some stretch where they'll be the hottest team in the NHL. I just get worried, but like I said, the thing that kind of lingers is, now about the locker room. Are they as tight as they should? Because you're right. The Dawes thing, like, that is such a punch in the arm, right? A hot goalie coming in, making big saves where you didn't have it before. Look at St. Louis when Binnington came in. Look at Seattle when Joey Decord came in. Like, Nico Dawes has given you that kind of performance. Like, you're fucking letting them down, especially that freaking third goal.
What is getting in the way of that?
These stupid mistakes are killing this team. Like, they are so undisciplined. Like, you see so many teams, they even at a 2-2, that main mindset, 5 minutes left, is lock it down, get the point, and go into overtime. And if you give it up, you're giving it up to a team below in the standings, but you go for it.
But let's be fair to Lindy here, because I think we are all in agreement. We don't like what he's been doing. But let's say you're behind the bench, man. You just said it. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. The whole team's letting you down, making these kind of mistakes. You got the team. What are you going to do? I mean, he's got to make an example at some point. He's got to be consistent at some point. Specifically, what would you do with this team right now?
Yeah.
Ruff was saying it was just that kind of trust issue at that point of that game. I think he knew how critical it was to kind of get that next goal. So he was trying to, mitigate those who are more likely to make an offensive mistake like that, an egregious mistake like that. That's kind of where his philosophy was coming from.
So what's more important, the off chance that your winger is going to make an egregious mistake in the defensive zone, Or, does that outweigh the fact that he can maybe get you a goal that you desperately need? I'm just saying, I guess.
No, and now that's the core of the argument that I think a lot of the Holtz supporters are going to say. That's behind everything. This guy can go out there and get you goals. We're not saying you got to play him 20 minutes a night or anything, but for God's sakes, like 4, 6 isn't doing it. Just put him in the right situations. Yeah, you're right. For all the other rookies that we deal with, it's just very easy to say, let them learn and grow a little bit.
Yeah, but Lindy Ruff last night, he hurt the team. It's not often that you could say that in hockey. You could see it a lot in football. You could see it in baseball, where a deliberate move, a deliberate play call, whatever, just fucking hurts the team. But Lindy Ruff hurt the team last night. This dude, what's Alex Holtz's scouting report, right? One timer from top of the circle is friggin' lethal. He gave it to you in spades last night. Boom. Yeah. Beautiful power play goal early in the third period. And you play him 2 more shifts? Like, just because he made an error in, earlier in the game that did not result in a goal? Like, it's a little mind numbing. There just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of logic there.
If I'm going to play devil's advocate, though, like, think about it. We're complaining about something and the attempted solution at that. In other words, the team's playing too loose, and Lindy's saying, I got to make an example. People got to understand not to make that pass, which I think we're all saying that individual play, he is not wrong that it's a bad play. Because I did also, by the way, as a side note, come across a lot of people, and bring this up, saying, oh, that's on ball. He bobbled the pass. And it's like, no, dude, here's what I think. I think it's an objectively bad pass to make. You just go up the boards, So I don't really care that was it like saved by ball or not. The whole point is you don't put it in that position. Right. That said, put the whole thing in perspective is the larger argument, the way I see it. And I don't know. I don't see this problem with Lindy and Holtz getting much better anytime soon. And I don't know what the answer is. That it sucks because the best trajectory for the team is probably going to leave, Holtz playing in a diminished role no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it never gets to the point of one of them has to go kind of thing, because I think, unless you're seriously going to get a lot back for Alex Holtz, I don't want Lindy Ruff over Alex Holtz.
Right. I'm not. It's exactly. I don't like the decision there. I don't. But I just keep going back to, let's be fair about it. What do you want to do with this team, or are we saying that we don't have a good answer? Does that say that honestly, it has been such a gradual problem that it's so widespread now that it's you can't fix this season? Like, that's what I'm leading up to. That's why this question keeps popping up in my head, because it's like really the question of doom with this team. Like, is this team too far gone? Is it possible to save this team from the mistakes they're making? I think a lot of us feel like, no, dude, it has to be. There's great players. We just got to get something to reset us. But, you're right. We've had something. You got, Dawes giving you a shot in the arm. That's exactly how you put it. That you're 100% right.
And 41 games is plenty of time to do that. But so was 61.
Yeah.
75. Like, the writing's been on the wall for a really long time.
That's it.
That's the concerning part.
Eventually, you just run out of time.
Right. Yeah. Eventually, you do. So you do need to figure out. Now, I'll give you a little bit of that optimism you were looking for, though.
All right.
Okay.
At exactly halfway through the season, with the points the Devils had, if they played the exact same garbage way to the end of the year, that's 94 points.
Right.
So if they do just 3 more wins than the garbage they played the first half, that's 100 points. Now, 100 points isn't what it used to be.
True.
But it should be enough.
Should be enough, and it's an objectively impressive number, even in our crowded area.
And that's my hope. You can't. I cannot believe that the next 41 or 40 at this point, right, will be as bad. I have to feel there's going to be some improvement, even if it's marginal, in 3 to 4 games, 3 to 4 wins.
I don't want to believe it.
Overtime losses.
I wish I was with you and I couldn't believe it, because I can. I can imagine it at least, and I understand that it just doesn't seem that likely. So I hope you're right.
I did hear a stat today that shocked me. I don't know exactly what it is, but no. I mean, I don't know the exact number. It was something
that says like 3 out of 4 people impressed by stats are gay.
Nico Hischier has 63 shots on goal so far this year, I believe, in 42 games. if I read that, or 36 games, right? It's like 2 shots a game he's averaging. And I don't know why that stood out to me. Whoever put it on X, good for you, because I totally forgot what it was. But it is kind of staggering when you look at just something like that in itself. There's so much that he brings. Why is that so low?
Yeah, that's true.
Is it him changing? Is he more defensive? I remember a lot of people talking about that they felt that Ruff was turning Hischier into a third-line checking center.
Right.
I didn't believe it, but when you look at kind of a microstat like this, was there some legs to it? I don't know, but it is kind of eye-opening that a player of his caliber is shooting at that low of a clip.
Here's the thing, though. He has had some chances up nice and close by the net. And I'm thinking back to like really true defensive checking Devils that we've had, in former systems and stuff. You know how it is. Unless they had a clear shot at the net, you wouldn't find them there. They're never near the net. And Hischier's still, at least in our system, is getting chances where he is driving to the net and doing those things. And the percentage he's scoring at, I don't even know if I can blame his usage or not. That's tough. That's a tough call. I would say I could if no, dude, they got him like he never goes in much past the blue line. You see what he's doing. They got him a total defensive checking. No way he's going to score. He doesn't even get to sniff the net anymore. But I don't think that's what we're seeing. I mean, what do you think? What could be the actual usage of him that result in a lower percentage scoring?
I mean, I kind of see. I don't think that you would take, because even like our best forward, the defensive forward, still got in front of the net. They were still guys like John Madden that made a freaking living there. I mean, he wasn't so defensive. Like I see where they're saying like he's not the offensive guy that he was when, or at least maybe that we all thought he was, and maybe led it up to in the beginning of his career. But I think he's so good defensively that's just kind of the role he takes. Like I think he's more concerned about his defensive play than his offensive play, and maybe that's who he is. And maybe that's just it. Maybe it is something Lindy's tinkering with, but I don't think that Nico Hischier's ever going to be a consistent 30-goal scorer. He's going to be the kind of guy that's going to give you, what you hope him to be, 20 to 25 goals a year, 70-point guy, 75-point guy, a lot of assists, a guy that comes up huge in the playoffs, and leads this team.
Do you think it's a result of his captaincy maybe too? Like, in other words, if you're a captain, you want to contribute and you just feel like you don't have the offensive magic that night. Do you ever feel like maybe some of those guys lean on the effort that is easier to manifest, like with, hard work and get defensive results, where hard work and scoring doesn't always happen as easily?
Well, I think he does lead by that example. He does work his ass off, and that's how he wants his team to play. And I think that is part of it. If this team was a very responsible defensively and we had more guys that can do that job, then he might be a little bit more offensive.
So maybe that's increased this year to last year, or, maybe that's the whole point of that stat, Bob.
Well, look how much weaker we look defensively. Yeah. Like, we actually need him to play the way he plays because, he's helping this team doing that, whether that's on him, whether that's on Ruff. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's another one of those kind of microcosms of the whole season. Like, I don't have any problem with the way Nico Hischier's playing. I think he's proven that we need him in the way he plays. But maybe he is altering his game slightly more because of all the problems the team's been having in general.
Right.
Because I like I said, I'm fine with the way he's playing, but he is projecting right now to have 40 points. That is not exactly what we thought we'd get out of our 1-2 center spot, So something has definitely changed. But again, it could be kind of an in-game, in-season Nico Hischier saying, this is what I have to do right now to keep the goals off the board to give us a chance to win. Where last year we had a little more cushion. So if we're up by a goal, he can go for try to be a little more offensive. So I'm not concerned with him. I don't think he's at all the problem with this team. I could pick 10 other guys that are way more of the problem than
Absolutely.
It is interesting.
Especially he's got the effort down, But he almost never has no energy. He's just working hard all the time.
It did bring out a conversation where we have already addressed a couple of reasons why. So it is a good talking point, but there's probably not much more behind it than just what's going on this season.
I mean, underperforming. I think like what you guys just said, like that's probably the last guy you want to go pointing at, for underperforming on this team,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole lot of guys that...
Well, that reminds me of something watching the game that I wanted to bring up. I feel like when certain players are out of the lineup and I'm watching that game, there's one guy that I want to look to drive the offense and make things happen, to be our offensive star when Jack's not on. And Timo's not that guy anyway. He's a different type of player. And his name is Jesper Bratt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching him, Jesper Bratt.
I remember him.
Yeah.
He played with us.
Little guy, he plays on the team. What he was trying last night, like his wheels were going. But what he's been doing lately is
Jesper Bratt. I got him.
Yes. He does. Okay. He always comes down the wing. He's got this great little tricky move right between his legs, and he tries to fake out the defender. But every time he does it, he's already coming too wide for the net, and he can't get off a shot. So It's not like he's not driving. It's just not clicking. And I think when Jack's not on the team, like, he should be the number one guy that's really pushing that offense. So it looks fancy as hell, but I've noticed that the last few games, he keeps driving way too far on the outside. He can never come in and make the shot on time. Yeah. Doesn't take anything away from his talent. I just really wanted to see him take over that game.
His execution sometimes isn't that great. He had a breakaway and he flubbed. But, he should be, Leon Draisaitl doesn't go away when Connor McDavid misses a game, and that's how it should be. This guy should be saying, all right, now it's all on me and I'm going to do it. And he doesn't. And guys like
Michael, so in his head, it's all in his head. Because when he's so streaky, right? Like when he gets good, you see like, oh my God, this guy's like so on fire lately and he can do anything. So that, like his thing is all in his head, developing any kind of consistency.
He's a phenomenal talent. It's just, that's all the more reason why I want to see him like take over this team. What if Jack Hughes was out for the year? Like,
do you know who he
You're a
$9
million winger. Let's go.
Do you know this way that he plays, this off again, on again shit? He really reminds me of a dude that had all the talent in the world and did have some great years, but when he was with us, especially, he pulled shit like this. Was Stefan Richer. Like, they're very similar. Like, I remember, like, being like, I know he had some good playoffs and stuff, but during the regular season for us, there were times that he would just completely disappear. You forget he's on the team. And that's kind of how I feel with Jesper Bratt sometimes. Like, he's just, but this should be, he should be the guy putting the team on his back. And we really don't have anybody to do that. And then we get guys that overcompensate, like Michael McLeod, who tries to do everything. And, he's,
if there's one guy, though, I could send to a sports psychologist on the team to just take a shot, see if this guy can be, unlocked somehow, it'd be Jesper Bratt. Because he's never been without his tools. He's just like
all the skill in the world.
And he's still he's right on his normal pace to get his 80 plus 90 points. Like he's right there, but it doesn't ever seem to be like when we need him.
Do you know what
to go out? And,
do you know what I would be thinking if I were Jesper Bratt this season?
Cha-ching?
The only thing I would be thinking is, what'd you say?
Cha-ching?
Yeah. No, after that, the only thing I'd be thinking is, do you think Jack Hughes is going to be the first New Jersey Devil with 100 points? Fuck that. He's missing all this time. I'm going to go fucking score 100 points. And he has it all the fucking, he could do it. He could be that guy, but he just disappears. He should be 100 point guy.
What did I say? He's been average. He got 2 straight years of like 75, wasn't it?
75 or 77, something like that.
Again, on pace doesn't mean everything, but he's on pace for like 88.
Yeah. But
he's a good season, but yet he still seems to disappear.
He should be 100-point guy. With the talent that he has, absolutely. Dan, do you not agree with that?
I do. He's got an amazing amount of talent. I just wonder about his motivations because you're talking about it like, he should be thinking right now, this is my opportunity. You know what, dude? I don't think he thinks that way.
He probably doesn't. That would be what I would be thinking.
No idea. He might be thinking like, what's the next crazy exotic sports car I'm going to get? I don't know. I'm going to see what Bugatti has. I keep hearing about Bugatti.
That's probably more like it.
Yeah, exactly. Like should I get that extra Rolex watch I saw? Yeah, I should get that. That's what I think he's thinking right now. Yeah. But maybe I'm totally underestimating his drive. It's just that's what I'm questioning with Jesper because he's got all the skill in the world and he's even got amazing, great hockey vision. So like something is holding him up. And that's why I would love to like get a real psychoanalysis workup. Is it just he's made his decision and he doesn't want to work this hard? Or is there something like psychologically holding him back? I don't know what it is.
See, that's not what I saw. I saw him working hard. That's the point. Like I do see him. Maybe it's just the execution at the end. He is pushing it. Maybe, like remember when Miles Wood had to like rein it back a mile per hour or two
Yeah.
to actually start performing. Maybe Jesper's got to do the same thing because he's so quick and slick going down the wing. He's just not putting himself in the position to score after all that effort.
I sense a lot of frustration in his game.
Yeah. I sense a lot of frustration in a lot of guys' games, and that's another problem. And I know that they're getting frustrated when every chance Bryce Salvador gets to tell you how they got their heads up on the bench, like they're not down here, like that probably shit's not that great.
There's tension. There's a lot of tension.
Yeah, there is, and I don't know where this thing's going to end. Maybe they'll pull it together. Maybe they'll go on a little bit of a hot streak, and Jack will come back.
Maybe we'll never stop bitching. Maybe that's
maybe we're gonna 3 weeks from now, Lindy Ruff will be gone. We'll have a new head coach, and the locker room's in disarray, and we're getting rid of all of our UFAs. Maybe.
I think that, and I don't, I don't want a coach to get fired or anything like that, but I think that any big move is needed right now. Like,
wow, that's
whatever that
is. That's
like
a question that's been hanging
for
a while, a little bit.
Solid defenseman, or
you just brought it up. I mean, do you think that is that what you're saying? Like right now, like
I don't. I do. Like I said, I believe they will do enough to get into the playoffs. I just don't believe that they are a Stanley Cup caliber team, even if they make the playoffs. But at this point, it's so middling. Like I feel like
no. But the question is, do you think they should fire Lindy Ruff?
Yeah, you brought that up. Like do you think that's a move? Okay, so you're saying don't turn that stone over yet.
That's correct. Again, I think they've been building this system.
But you just say that it's like worth it if you have to turn it over before the season times out. Is that what you're saying? Like, at what point would you say, like, look, dude, this is our last card to play, and we need to play this hand this season?
I don't know that that'd be the hand I play. To be honest with you, I think that's an off-season decision.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
The point I was trying to make is something big has to happen to galvanize the team. We already thought maybe it could be Dawes coming in and throwing his body around and making some great saves, but I don't think that's enough.
Hey, fellas, I'm here.
Just swinging it on in the locker room, guys. Check this out. Who wants to jump rope?
Yeah, finish your point.
It's gone.
I think I did.
All right, I think we're going to finish up. So, Devils are done. They're in disarray. They should sell everything off, trade everybody. The season's fucking down the toilet. That's what you got.
Or win 2 straight games, we'll be anointing them Stanley Cup champions.
That's right.
Look, man, that's again, it goes to that's why it's so frustrating. Like, come on, man. You guys can be one of the best teams in this league.
Is the beauty of being a Devils fan, 2023, 24. Yeah.
Like, stop with the bullshit. Like, if you're a Montreal Canadian fan right now, right, you're sitting there and you're talking about how, we need some pieces, right? We need to grow here. We need to get better here. Like, no, we don't need that. Like, listen, we're saying we all agree they do need to get themselves a good, solid defenseman. But every other piece is there.
Whatever.
And the pieces that are there right now can win games, especially against the fucking Canadians and the Blue Jackets.
You're talking like Montreal's playing with house money, right? Like, we're not even supposed to be this close.
Oh, there's a lot of teams with fewer pieces playing way better than us.
Yeah, like this is fucking deeper. This is just guys that should know better, that just sometimes play like they don't give a fuck or play like they completely forgot how to fucking play. And
make a strong argument that we're the most underperforming team in the NHL so far.
We're one of them, and that's for sure.
I know some teams are having worse seasons, but I think when you look at potential versus what we've actually achieved, we are up there in the top 5 at least.
Maybe
the number 1. I don't know.
Now, oh boy. You can really start thinking about when you start looking into things. I know we're going to wrap it up, and I just want to say, when you start thinking about this team, right, and you start thinking about just a couple of things about whether or not this locker room is functioning as a cohesive unit or not, and things like that. And you kind of I started thinking, like, Luke Hughes' play the last few games has kind of been below Luke Hughes' standard, with just making some really dumb mistakes that he really wasn't making a whole lot earlier in this year. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't want to say it, but like, to me, like, that's the shit that like you start seeing, and just other guys just start fucking not just forgetting how to play. Like,
seems contagious.
Yeah, it gets it. That's exactly it. That's what I was trying to. Yes, that's the word.
I think Luke is more and more trying to put the team on his back more than he maybe can right now. And I think he's just a gamer. I think he's like the way some of the mistakes he's making losing the puck. He's overskating. Like
he's trying to.
You know what I mean?
He's just swinging.
He knows what his role is.
Trying real hard, but just not connecting, not thinking ahead, and not part of it.
The guy's sick, and he leads the team in minutes, and he does get the power play goal, and he's got a great shot and all that. And I just think he's the more he's in the league, the more he's like, I can do this. I can be the guy. But he also needs to be a little more seasoned.
Right. And, he should be getting, it should not be falling on Luke Hughes.
He should be
on
within
that
his
blue
system.
line.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my point. If that's the case, then, this is where I get it. Hamilton's not there. Siegenthal's not, but Marino all year. And let's not, let's not all have like revisionist history and start saying that Dougie Hamilton was the linchpin of this defense when he was on this team.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Because,
he
came
with liabilities. And we accepted that, but we knew that, he was going to be a liability. We did express concern that, oh my God, with all these young guys coming up, Dougie Hamilton, it comes with liabilities. That's a lot of liabilities. We knew we were going to get with him, but there's guys we did expect way more solid defense from Siegenthaler, and I'm going to say Marino. I mean, Marino, I thought was going to be our rock.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who our worst defenseman is, but he is my most underperforming versus expectations. Yeah. I did not expect the best possible defense from Hamilton or from the young guys. And even Siegenthaler, I was always a little iffy. You gave me a choice between keeping Siegenthaler and Graves if that was the option, and adding up who plays what side and everything. I would have definitely took Graves. So Siegenthaler was not like the best on anyway, but it's Marino because he was so great last year. Yeah. He did not make a bad move with that puck, almost never. This year he seems lost. As much as we're saying Luke Hughes is a kid and he needs to be seasoned, you're right. But who also looks like he's on his heels just swinging, like I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm trying and I'm making mistakes. It looks like John Marino's doing that too. So that tells you a lot when you got guys who performed with this team as recently as last year looking like totally different people. And I think Marino is one of a few guys you got to say they look totally different. So what's in common? I mean, I don't know. It's a whole host of factors, but I think at the hub of it all is Lindy Ruff, so he's got to bear responsibility here. Defensive coaching system involves other personnel. And I'm honestly not even sure what we're doing there, but I don't like it.
They cut down on these stupid-ass mistakes on defense. They have been playing better on the team defense.
True.
The forwards have been playing better. And if they can figure this friggin' goal thing out like they did in the beginning of the year where they were scoring at will, they'll be fine. But it's the problem, again, just lies in, leadership. I'm with you on that, Dan. It's all in leadership. You're going to see what kind of coach Lindy Ruff is in the next couple of weeks just by how this team plays out there.
And you're going to see what kind of puckers you have on Saturday night based on these next two games.
It's a good point.
We do go back and forth every other game. We rise and fall with this team. I think a lot of fans.
Yes. Yeah, we do. I think a lot of fans now are just kind of looking at the looking a little bit further down and just saying that, without consistency, there's just no way of getting there.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the reality of it now. It just comes down to, you can do it, but you got to start putting it together now because you're going to run out of time. You don't want to be like the Buffalo Sabres, missed by one fucking point, and have to live with that all off season.
Think of how many different games we can point to if that's the case.
Oh God, that's a friggin' 2 weeks worth of shows right there.
Yeah. Yep. Got our summer booked up.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to wrap it up wherever you're checking us out. And if you happen to stay with us for the 63 minutes,
see you, doctor.
Get a life. And we thank you and give us a positive review, a positive comment, whatever, 5-star rating,
prayers.
Like, subscribe, firstborn. See you when we see you.
Puck is out.
Sad bye-byes.
Part of the podcast.
I love it.
I can't hear you.
It's over, Johnny.